work without any hindrance, without any problem from the at least service tax departments. If there are any problems, they are sorted out, and you devote your time for improving your business and not unnecessarily waste your time running around the department or our administration. Anyway, this is in the beginning I just wanted to convey the message. Anyway, this is a technical session, a workshop where the topics which have been taken for discussions are quite heavy. The first session is totally devoted to the GST, GST model law, and the second session after lunch are again quite heavy with the all the difficult and grey areas of the service tax also. So I don't know how much you will be able to discuss and how much justice will be done to the each of the topics, because sometimes what happens, I have seen there have been workshops on real estate only or works contract only, and but now it's some one hour discussion on each of the topics. Lot of the problems have been settled down, lot of issues have been settled down through instructions. So lot of issues were there earlier, and now after issue of the instructions in 12, 13, all the problems have been mostly solved. There are not much of a problem what we think. Still, if there will be any problem, you can always highlight to us and we will try to solve it. Whatever and wherever I have gone on the discussion of the real estate, the whole issue is that real estate transaction which anybody is addressing to, whether it is a pure construction contract or a works contract. Anyway, both are here together, they will be discussing. If it is a construction contract, there is no problem absolutely. When there is a works contract, there are some issues because of the interpretation of the works contract. How much will be the goods, how much will be the services, each state interpreting differently, each state trying to take maximum revenue out of this. These issues of course you discuss. And the other important problem will be the banking and financial services. There also the host of the activities of the financial institutions or banking, whether they are taxable or not, whether service tax, what kind of abatement you will get. The whole problem, whole issue is the particular service tax activity where it will be classified, because on that the abatement will be decided, and whether it is a forward charge, reverse charge, all those things will be decided. So the whole while examining or analyzing the service tax problems, first try to get into the contract, look to the contract, what exactly is the activity, whether first thing is whether it is a service activity or not. If it is a service activity, where will be the classification? If the classification is you have come to the conclusion, then what will be the abatement, and then whether it is a forward charge or reverse charge, and then valuation also. All those things, what is the gross value, all those things you have to, very simplistic things. Anyway, through interpretation it has become little difficult. Similarly, leasing of the properties also. Leasing of immovable properties, hopefully there are no issues, but recently there are some issues have been raised by the Calcutta Municipal Corporation also. Long-term leasing, short-term leasing, all those things, and how it will be charged. Earlier period, before leasing came into existence, whether duty has to be charged or not, because I have been given to understand that they are also trying to raise demands on the earlier payments prior to when leasing was dutiable. Anyway, all these things you can discuss in a technical session, and there are eminent speakers. All those are very competent in their own field. They will clarify the doubts, and in any case, again, like I request every time, if you what are the issues and what are the deliberation, what are the conclusion, if you can bring to our notice, we will be educated, or again if we don't agree with that also, we can come out with what should be the right thing. More than that, whatever will be discussed in those afternoon sessions, most important thing is the GST one, which has been the model law has come into existence. So what we'll expect that in fact you should have devoted the whole seminar for the GST model laws, because this model law has come and this is the right time when you can discuss, examine each of the aspects, and whatever your conclusion, wherever difficulties are faced, you can flag it to the government, either through the chambers or associations, whatever means, because these are only model laws, means they have been notified that the coming laws which will come into existence will be in that framework only. There are no legal sanctity for these model laws. These are only a guidelines, where ultimately the states will be giving that state GST law, center will be coming out with the central GST law. This will be after the first constitutional amendment will be done, then state will agree to this, president will assent it, then GST council will be formed, then GST council, which is in charge of finding out how much will be the levy, how much will be the threshold limit, how much is the exemption limit, all the and rate of duty, all those things will be decided by the GST council. After that, and once it is approved, then ultimately will come to the turn of the law. At that time, states will make their law, center will make their law, and this model law they will follow. That is why this has been brought out now. So now, because that will take a lot of time before the actual law is brought to you. So now this model law which has been brought in the net, you go through this, and wherever you find that if this kind of law are made, it may be little difficult for the trade to implement it or follow it. This can be always brought to the notice of the government. Earlier, I think 2-3 days before, we were addressing on GST a particular group of professionals. There also a lot of things were deliberated, and same thing I told them, that don't go critically to this model law. Model law is not a law. Model law is that this is going to be the frame of law which will be coming, which state and center will be, when making in the law in their legislature, will follow. But then there may be deviation little here and there procedurally, and moreover this law has been made, whatever till now agreed, that kind of thing has been brought in this model law, but lot of things are not here. Like now they are saying, hopefully some of you must have gone through model law, registration there will be through everything will be of course to the GSTN portal network. You will apply through a GSTN network for the registration. So the state, this will be on the basis of each state. Only thing is that if you have got different business verticals, you can have different registration numbers. But if the center is having any issue with whatever details you have given in your registration, they can raise an issue. If state they don't agree, they can raise an issue. Any of them they can raise an issue, and if any of them raise an issue, it will be considered as it's an issue for the both. And once it's sorted out, then only registration will be issued. The problem is who will sort it out and what form it will be sorted out, whether so-called notice be issued, who will issue the so-called notice. All those formalities have not yet been worked out. Like you know that if you will file the return will be accessible to both the state authority and the central authority. Either can raise objection. Who will issue the so-called notice? How it will be decided? How it will be adjudicated? Because state there are different powers, center there are different powers of the adjudicating officers to reconcile all those kind of things. These issues have not been yet sorted out, which our discussions are going on. Other thing is like audit. Who will conduct the audit? Like here now, our department is conducting the service tax audit, commercial tax, sales tax, they must be conducting their audit. But then in GST, who will conduct the audit? That has not been decided. What will be the periodicity of the audit? Audit objection hoga to you will answer to whom? And what will happen if there is a divergence of practice or divergence of interpretation between center and state? So the broad framework has been given to you. But wherever there are problem areas, still discussions are going on, and hopefully a conclusion will come which will be more assessee friendly. We are trying for that. Leave apart what is the difference between the state and center officials, The assessee should not be put into problem. They should not put to unnecessary hardship. They should not be made to run around from pillar to post, from state government to central government. They don't know where to go and how to sort out this problem. We are trying to sort out those kind of issues. Hopefully by the time you get the proper law by the center, by the state separately, all these things will be taken into account, and things will be all problems will be answered. Of course, you are having 3 technical sessions on this issue, so I am not going in detail for going into the GST, how is the adjudication system, what is the refund system, all those things. This will be discussed in detail by Mr. Chatterjee and Pulak. So listen to them carefully. If you have any issues, flag those issues, how the problem will be sorted out. These things also you bring to their notice. And most important thing, what I will rather request all of you, this matching system which has been now introduced through this is a very important area, and a very what will say difficult area for the assessees. Try to understand that. Whenever you will file a return, whatever credit you have been taken, because both recipient and supplier, all the details will be entered into the GST network, all your invoice, all your duty paying document, all your everything return will be there, and ultimately credit whatever you have taken, this will be matched with the duty payment by the concerned person. If there is any difference, that person concerned, your responsibility that you see that person files a correct return or a correct invoice and pay the duty. Otherwise, it will be added to your duty liability. This is the sum and substance. So please examine this matching aspect very carefully. If you think there is any issues in that, it will be difficult for implementation, through chambers raise these issues also. And the other issue is that within 3 years adjudication, there is no concern. The earlier so-called notice will be issued for normal period in a particular time, extended periods for a particular time. All those things have been taken out in GST system. What will happen? It will be adjudication. Any issue from the day you are you have filed the return, like you have to file the return within 20 days. Once you have filed the return, from that date, if a normal demand, within 3 years adjudication order has to be issued. If it is a extended, it is something related to fraud, collusion, all those kind of thing, then it will be 5 years. Within 5 years, adjudication order will be issued. There is no limit for show cause notice. Like if the show cause notice is issued after 4 years and 9 months, the adjudicator will be having only 3 months left for adjudication. Because 5 years he has to issue the adjudication order, otherwise it is time bar. He cannot decide. So some people raise the query that then it will be adjudication without application of mind. Because if the show cause notice issued even just 1 day before, adjudicator what he will do? So these issues are there, which through chambers you discuss all those issues, try to come to a conclusion, and through chambers you send your recommendations. We are also trying to address these issues. Of course, internally we will try to address these issues, saying that all right, show cause notice should be issued with this period. But legally, whatever model law provides is like that. So examine all these issues which will be affecting the assessees particularly, and where professionals, like what I say, when there is a normal assessment, this will be a totally e-assessment, starting from e-registration, e-payment, filing return on the e-based system, everything taking credit, matching, everything e-based. So long everything runs smoothly, neither the professionals nor the government officials, nobody is in the picture, because you will be paying the duty and everything the GST network will take into account. The problem is whenever there is a issue. So whenever there is a issue, how the things are getting addressed to the model law, those you must look into. Wherever there is a grievances, what are the grievance redressal mechanism has been given, that you must examine and look into. So with this, I leave the panel for discussion, and GST, and of course I will, as a GST thing, I will request, examine everything carefully, send your recommendations, and devote more time for the GST. And for service tax issues, these issues, of course, they are very important issues, and if anything, any conclusion you reach, you let us know. We will be happy to know. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Commissioner has very kindly agreed to take maybe a couple of questions at most, because we still have a little bit of time. And so with the permission of Shri S.K. Panda and the Chair, may I request you to please briefly introduce yourself, your name and organization, and state your question.
Hello. It's a technical seminar. It will be always better if you discuss all the issues in detail with the concerned participants and come out your views. And if there are any procedural issues you are facing, or any department, anything particular, this where you want any problem has been raised and we have not been able to tackle it, or you want my interference, those things you can bring to my notice. Otherwise, regarding technical issues, some High Court decisions, like wherever I go, people say whether audit should be done or not because of the Delhi High Court decision. And somebody told me that already 2-3 people, they have already moved to the Calcutta High Court also, that government doesn't have power for search and summon also. So those things will continue, and the department will try to get out of these problems, because taxation law, all those things will be there. And like audit, it's a part of the system, because whenever we have gone for self-assessment, audit is a natural fallout of that. Because the only thing by which the government officers will be able to know whether it has been done correctly or not, why through audit and all. So anyway, these are the issues you can discuss in great detail in a technical seminar. If there are any specific issues where you want our interference and where you have been facing problem, you can bring it to my notice here or in my office. Anytime you can come discuss the problem with me also. Anyway, now also if they want to raise any issue particularly, they can tell.
Thank you, sir. So we will keep the floor open for a very brief Q&A session. On to you.
हॉस्पिटल में आप थोड़ा मेरे को जानकारी भी दे सकते हैं कि किस में आप सर्विस टैक्स दे रहे हैं? रेंटल्स में दे रहे होंगे?
Pardon?
क्या हॉस्पिटल में
we pay on all types of labor services.
नहीं, the manpower supplier, he will give the service, and of course reverse charge of there. Yes, sir. Yeah,
reverse charge will occur if the supplier is a non-company. Right. But whatever be the thing, normally what happens, we have to pay the service, we have to bear the service tax, whoever remits this to the government. But we cannot charge service tax in the patient's bill.
यार पैसों को छोड़ो ना, कितना चार्ज करते?
No, the thing is that it is slowly.
इतना जनरल फोरम में मेरे को पूछना नहीं चाहिए.
But sir, even for doing a charity you need money. It is slowly becoming unviable for the hospitals to function.
This will be added to your cost. Costing में add हो रहा होगा. Costing naturally you cannot separately say service charge, because service charge is not on the treatment or this. So you cannot say service tax or
no. You can ultimately the patient has to bear.
You see what happened. Service tax is when you are providing services, then you are charging, you are paying service tax. And a lot of things government has exempted, education sector, health sector, like hospitals and all. Only thing is like manpower. Manpower, that person has been exempted because he is either unorganized sector. Yeah. And you are because you are a registered corporate entity, either a partnership form or something. So that charge, that payment, instead of he paying, you government is taking from you.
Yeah, but ultimately
this will be part of your cost. So you did not charge your patient separately, but because it is a cost.
Yeah, it is a cost.
Like when you have made such a investment for your building, for all these things, you don't charge separately that हमारा इतना बड़ा building खड़ा हुआ है तो इसके लिए charge है. It's a cost. तो cost के हिसाब से आप करिए जो करना है, हम क्या बोलते हैं.
Ultimately, patient has to bear it. That is why.
That is your costing mechanism. You have to see.
if that service tax hospital can be exempted from all types of purchasing of service, then we can pass on the
नहीं
benefit
तो
to the
ये
patients.
ये तो दूसरों को देना है ना. It is just you are a facilitator for the problem. Anyway, we will try to see what best we can do.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Okay. There's one question up there.
Good morning to everybody. I am Mandrita Bose. I am from ITC. I would like to ask a question related to our hotels division. In our hotels division, we have a composite rate that we offer to the guests. So suppose there is a room accommodation on which the service tax is leviable. The room accommodation is inclusive of a breakfast. So my state law tells me that whenever there is a composite rate, you distribute the composite rate into a VAT-able portion and a non-VAT-able portion. So what in that case happens is that for the breakfast component, because the local tax VAT is telling me that you pay VAT on 5% of the revenue, my service tax is silent about it. I am paying service tax on the entire amount, and I am also paying VAT on 5% of the amount. So it becomes on that 5% a double tax, and I also end up not able to recover from many of the PSUs which we transact with, because what the PSUs tells us, their internal audits does not support this kind of a tax. So we at the end of the day have to go ahead and bear it. Is there any kind of resolve which can be suggested in this forum?
So you see, we are giving you abatement for the restaurant and hotel industry.
That's
you are
right.
taking the abatement.
And
Why the abatement?
in respect, we are also not taking the input credit.
You are not taking the input credit also.
No, we are
Not only that. Not only that. You are not entitled to input credit provided you are on that abatement you are taking.
Absolutely.
Abatement has been calculated, not only that, taking into account also what will be your this kind of goods content. So that is how once you are given the abatement, we hope that these things have been taken care of. That is what has happened. The states, they are not, that is what I told the state, different states are following different practices and are not ready for understanding all these issues, because when we give the abatement, we know that in this particular contract or this particular sector, there is a goods component.
That's right.
Goods component, that is why we are given the abatement. But they are saying no, you so separately and all those things, then what can we do? Every sector, because these are akin to works contract also, restaurant and hotel, where there is a goods and a services. Those kind of places the abatement has been given. This abatement is precisely for that purpose. That whatever your goods component, that we have calculated and they are taken into account, all those things, like construction sector, everywhere.
That's right. But at the same time, when we are paying an indirect tax, we should also be able to recover it through our invoicing. So if we are facing this issue with the PSUs,
what kind of issue you are PSUs, what is their objection? I am not
their objection is that their internal audit does not really recommend that on a particular a particular item being treated both as a commodity on where the VAT is leviable, and at the same time being considered as a service where service tax is leviable. So that 5% or something comes under dispute for us. We have to go ahead and bear it.
That is a big problem with them. Everywhere this problem is there.
That's right.
That is what I have told lot of forums, that please take up with the state government. That otherwise these are the issues. That when we have clearly told this much of abatement means the other is service, this is the goods component and rest is the service tax component. But still, if they are following a different practice, what can be done? Anyway, GST will take care of all these things.
Yeah, so we should expect GST to please take care of all
The
this.
GST will naturally take care, because that is a central and state
right.
together.
Huh.
And again, the model law has been brought in. Go through this. If you expect the problem will be solved in these laws and procedures, otherwise you raise these issues there also.
Fine. Thank you so much.
There is one more question, but shall we close it at that? Okay. Please.
he's afraid that if he doesn't pay taxes, like if he doesn't get service tax on the bills, he might face some audit and all. So normally he is charging, and because the reverse tax, we are also paying on a reverse tax basis. Yeah, but then he is saying that he is afraid because some after 2 years, perhaps there will be audit and say that no, you should have also been paid. So in that case, if he raises in bills, can we like
if you can bring that whatever issued to us with your document, because of the reverse tax you have to pay.
Yeah,
So
but
that is
he is saying that
who is saying?
the contractor.
What is saying?
He is saying that no, he has been paying on these services for the last 10 years.
How? Why he paying? Is he legally entitled to pay?
No, he is not, but he is raising the bills because he is saying that I will not.
Are you sure that he is depositing or just taking
He
the
is
money
depositing. He is showing the challans and all. That is perfect, okay. He is saying that I will play safe. I will raise the service tax on my bills because it might happen after 5 years. Somebody will say no, you have to pay this. Because
law after 5 years, if everybody say like this, there will be one service tax law for you and one for them.
if I am saying if the party is paying service tax and he is showing the challan, can we pass on like should we not pay on reverse tax
No,
basis?
because legally you are
Yeah, legally I am liable.
You will be filing the return.
Yeah.
So return it has to come in. He is not filing a return. Is he filing?
He is also filing a return and he is
how
showing
is he accounting for it?
he is showing as a service.
How service provided to whom? Legally the question will arise that when the assessment is there, that he is not entitled to pay the duty. Because he will be not falling in, he will be in that category where the receiver has to pay the duty. How the assessment has been done? Where is the assessment done? Here in Calcutta.
Yeah, in Calcutta.
Can you bring the particular thing into our notice?
Yeah,
Because we should see that return also. Because he may be paying, but that is not being accounted for anywhere. That will go west.
Okay. But right now we are taking double credit because he is chubby.
आप double credit ले.
Because I am paying the service tax to him, na. Some certain time.
आपको notice issue हो जाएगा. Don't try to solve this issue.
You cannot do that.
You cannot do that.
You should not pay that service.
So that has happened only once. After that we have stopped it. But it's like outgo for us also sometimes.
Please, the return filed by him and you, if you can bring those copies to me, we will discuss it.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Before we conclude the inaugural session, let me express our deep gratitude to our chief guest, Shri S.K. Panda, Chief Commissioner of Service Tax Kolkata Zone, for being with us, and also to our guest of honor, Shri R.K. Mishra, Additional Commissioner of Service Tax 1, for being with us today. In fact, we have a very heavy day ahead of us. So, in fact, I will just request the chairperson of our Indirect Taxes Committee to present a very small, he has a book which has already been released, but we will just present to you formally that book, and thereafter we shall take the session to a closure.
We have taken care of all major issues arising out of this GST model. Try to put all the points. So I take the opportunity to give a copy of my book to sir.
May I also request the chairperson to please present deep tokens of our appreciation to our chief guest, Shri S.K. Panda. And to the guest of honor, Shri R.K. Mishra. Thank you. We shall